Okay, this is the right to privacy. The right to privacy is a unique right because it pertains to um, other rights under the Bill of Rights under Article 3. Generally, we understand the right to privacy as the right to be left alone, which is also identified in a word, no? Autonomy. Though we only hear of the term privacy more emphasized in Article 3, Section 2 and 3, on the privacy of one's home, personal effects or person, and also on the privacy of communications and correspondence. However, it is unique, this concept of privacy, because it is found in several provisions of the Constitution. Um, Not surprisingly, because the term privacy is often made synonymous to liberty, the freedom from unlawful governmental or other restraints. When you speak of privacy and liberty in relation to liberty, you speak of the non interference of the state as to your personal affairs, your ideologies, your right to associate yourself, express yourself, and others. No? So, liberty is an aspect or a manifestation of privacy. Now, um, when you speak of privacy, there are several clusters, no, of the claim to privacy. One is informational privacy. This is the privacy of one as to his information relative to him, his personal and sensitive personal information that are also protected by the Data Privacy Act. You also have your accessibility privacy. This is your privacy from physically being proximate or otherwise, no, your close proximity or otherwise from others, how others gain access to your person. And then you have expressive privacy, the privacy of your identity or personhood through speech or activity. This is the right to express yourself or assume your own identity. Um, in the Constitution, as I mentioned earlier, privacy is seen as unique and precious because it is manifested in so many provisions of the fundamental law. First one is Section 1 on the right to due process. Non-interference as to your life, liberty, and property unless there is due process. So the state cannot interfere with the autonomy of your person, the sanctity of your life, and how you want to dispose or make use of your property. Second, on the right of the people to the privacy or security of their persons, houses, papers, and effects. It's on Section 2. This refers to your privacy relative to search warrants and warrants of arrest. But this section is often made reference to when we want to advance your privacy rights under statute RA 10173 as well as RA 10175. This provision in section 2, um, because the Constitution promises to be broad, should encompass or include your privacy in the virtual world and beyond. No? Then you have Section 6, the liberty of abode and travel, also corresponds to your right to your autonomy to decide where you want to go, your mobility and your residence. No? And the right to form associations or unions is also a your right to autonomy on how you want to associate or be with others. The privacy against self-incrimination, that you have the right to the autonomy of your person to not be made witness against yourself. That's the right against self-incrimination. Under the civil code, you have the provisions also guaranteeing privacy. Every person shall respect the dignity, personality, privacy, and peace of mind of his neighbors and of other persons. Um, this relates to the claim for damages in case of the violation to your privacy, and also the liability of any public officer, employee, or private citizen for violations of your fundamental rights in Article 32 of the Civil Code. And then the recognition of the privacy of your letters and private communications, not only in the Constitution but also in the Civil Code. Um, in the revised penal code, you also have your provisions protecting your privacy on the violation of secrets by an officer and the revelation of trade and other industrial secrets and trespass to dwelling. This refer to your autonomy, to your right to autonomy for your personal space, no, sa iyong bahay, um, sa iyong mga trade secrets, and then your other zones of privacy. In other statute, you have the Anti-Wiretapping Act, you have the Secrecy of Bank Deposits, Intellectual Property Code, Data Privacy, and Cybercrime Prevention Act. You read in the Sini versus Executive Secretary or Secretary on the concept that the right to privacy is a right which every civilized society must afford everyone. Civilization is anchored on respect for liberty and autonomy of others. No, like when you want to be participative in government, when you vote, your vote comes from your personal discretion, your personal choice, and government relies on or respects that dignity of every person, his autonomy, when he treats a person in a democratic way. No, this is the rule against tyranny. That's also a manifestation of respect for autonomy in a democratic society. So intrusion is impermissible unless excused by law. So while we have the right to privacy in the case of the CINI, there's the recognition that our privacy may be limited by law. Also recognized in the same case is the existence of our privacy rights under the UDHAR, or the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's also recognized, therefore, under international law. Under the Constitution, we have, in the case of Polio versus David, the discussion on, or the emphasis on, the guarantees in the Bill of Rights as to privacy. So these provisions directly relate to privacy, the right against unreasonable searches and seizures, and privacy of communications. Ito lang talaga yung focus ng konsepto ng privacy sa ating Constitution. However, we take for the first time more emphasis on the privacy of communications and correspondence. We actually took this in passing in your discussion of Section 2 on the fruit of the poisonous tree, but this gives more emphasis on communications and correspondence. In the modern age, this includes the privacy of the individual in his communications, including the electronic mode of communicating, emails, messenger means, no, yung Viber or what, or Telegram and the likes. So it's no longer limited to written correspondence. There's this concept of a reasonable expectation of privacy, that in the affairs of men, there are instances when you least expect privacy. For example, when you enter into airports or ports of entry in a territory or in a country or in a city, there is reasonable less expectation of privacy because of the airport or port security. Privacy in relation to public places, for example, you do not expect privacy in public places. That's why you cannot claim privacy when people take photos of you in the background because you happen to be in a public place, unless you are targeted as the object of the photo. On the matter of money laundering, you have the Anti-Money Laundering Act, which allows the AMLAC, the Anti-Money Laundering Council, to inquire into your bank accounts, your particular deposit, to uphold the the law on money laundering. This case of Republic versus Eugenio, stating that the secrecy of bank deposits is statutory, that right is statutory and not constitutional. Hence, the secrecy of bank deposits in relation to the anti-money laundering law, being a statutory guarantee, may be adjusted by Congress itself, the same body that afforded you your right to the privacy of your bank accounts.